everybody. I'm Robert Tomlinson, Commissioner of the USA eBaseball Power League, and I welcome you to the first installment of the USA eBaseball Power League Roundup Show. In this weekly series, we'll be showing you the highlights of each series in the USA eBaseball Power League, how each team did, take a look at the weekly standings, and possibly more in the future. Think of this show like the sports center of the league. Highlights, top plays, seeing the best teams. What's not to love? For those not familiar with the USA eBaseball Power League, also known in the Power Pros universe as the EPL, here's a little rundown about how it works. The USA eBaseball Power League is an 8-week, 9-matchup regular season competition with 3 weeks of playoffs, comprised of 18 players from the United States and its territories, and partnered with USA Baseball. Before the season began, each of our 18 players drafted a team of 19 characters in the video game WBSC eBaseball Power Pros to represent them throughout the season. Each week, one player faces off against another in an online head-to-head matchup consisting of 3 9-inning contests with no lock-on, also known as hitting assist, enabled. If a game is tied after 15 innings, the game ends in a tie. 1 week will also be a double-header week, where 2 such matchups are played in the same week. At the end of each season, the top 8 players in the league, based on their record, compete in the playoffs. The first 2 rounds are 3-game series, while the final round, the Summit Series, is a 5-game tilt. 2 players from the league will also receive a special prize, a spot in the E-Premier 12 USA Finals, a 6-player round-robin tournament later this year where the top 2 players in the United States in WBSC eBaseball Power Pros will go to the biggest in-person tournament in Power Pros history, the E-Premier 12, where 12 players from around the world will compete for the title of World Champion. The opening rounds take place later this year, with the Super Round and Finals taking place in November in Tokyo. Oh yeah, and the finals? They're taking place at the world-famous Tokyo Dome. The 2 players who will receive this honor will be the regular season champion of the league and the winner of the Summit Series. If those players are the same, then the runner-up of the Summit Series will get the second spot. So, those are the stakes of the USA eBaseball Power League. Let's get to some highlights from Week 1 of action. Our first matchup in EPL history came against 2 players that have a bit of a history in the league ladder. In the last iteration of the league, prior to USA Baseball partnership, Compass, the owner of the Space City Comets, won the Triple P level, the secondary tier of the league system, with an impressive 26-1 record and got the number 1 pick in this season's preseason draft. Meanwhile, Slimefall, the owner of the Purple Hurricanes, made it to the playoffs as the final seed in the EPL, but got the final pick in the preseason draft this season, which some might say was a bit of a cruel twist of luck. As the first series of the EPL goes, this was bound to be a fantastic matchup, so let's see how it went. Game 1 between Compass and Slimefall from Crown Stadium, the first series of the EPL season. We pick it up top of the first, Ukazanine at the plate. Gets a little poke into right field for the first base hit of the season for the EPL. But then the next batter, Doman, with a little hit and run action, gets it past the second baseman Sabri. Kazanine moves up to third on the throw, putting runners on the corners, but a couple batters later, Lifter Tsukami trying to reach at a pitch outside, but grounds it to short to end the inning for the Hurricanes. We pick it up top second now, Azuma at the plate, gets a little bit of a little roller to the left side there for the Space City Comets. And then Zenji Kamakari, the next hitter. They try to do a little hit and run, it fails, and the runner is out at second to end the inning. We pick it up now, top 4, Purple Hurricanes with Samban Matsu at the plate. Sabari with a great dive, the flip to Ozma for 1, the relay back to Christine in time for a fantastic double play. Bottom 6, runners on the corners, 1 out for Raigo, and he grounds into a 6-4-3. Still scoreless through 6 innings. Top 7, Lifter Tsukami at the plate. against Simon. And then Azuma, he shows the other side of the middle infield, has some range for the Comets. Big double play there. Bottom 7, Simon at the plate, lines it right to Uraga, but the hit and run fails again. Saburi out at first. We pick it up now, bottom 9. Saburi at the plate, and he lines it. Oh, but a diving play by Doman for the Hurricanes to get a big out there, and that brought us to extra innings. Top 10, first and second, 1 out, and a big double play off the bat of Lifter Tsukami. So that brings us to the bottom of the 10th, and Maximum Christine for the Comets lofts it into center field, the first hitter of the inning. Kagami has a strong arm, but Saburi comes in to score to walk it off in 10 innings with a 1-0 victory. Christine 1 for 4 with the RBI, Azuma 2 for 3, Go goes 6 for the Comets in the victory. Game 2 between the Hurricanes and the Comets. Hurricanes trying to bounce back from that extra inning loss. We pick it up in the top of the 5th, and a little hit and run action once again for the Comets. That's their bread and butter. Renji Rokaku up the middle gets the RBI single to make it 1-0. But Compass tried to get a little more in the later on in the inning. They get a ground out. They get the out at first, but then Maximum Christine out at the plate trying to be a little cheeky on the base paths. That kept it a 1-0 ball game. Top 6, Toy at the plate for the Comets, and he lifts this one into right field just past Hasiaku and into the corner. That would be an RBI double for Toy to make it 2-0. We go now top of the 7th, Go on base for the Comets, gets thrown out on the base paths for 1 out, and then the very next pitch from Koichi Kino is lifted into deep right field off the bat of Maximum Christine, and there's the first home run in the USA eBaseball Power League this season, and that made it a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Space City Comets. Pick up bottom 8, 5-0 Comets now, and that is Yavaline with a big home run for the Hurricanes to make it 5-1, their first run of the season. But folks, it would not be enough. We go bottom of the 9th here. Score now is 6-1, and Samba Matsu grounding out to Saburi to end the game, and the Comets take the first 2. Final score 6-1. Mizudori getting a 3-hit game in that one. Game 3, Purple Hurricanes and Space City Comets. Hurricanes trying to avoid the sweep. We pick it up bottom of the 1st, and Haruto Raigo going Yabo to left center field for the Comets to make it 1-0. And the Comets would have their chance here to score more in this game to try to extend that lead, as Raigo getting a little dap from the old teammates there. Bottom 2, Toy at the plate, first and second, 1 out. Looks at a pitch outside from Mitamura, and then grounds into a 6-4-3 to end the inning. We pick it up now top of the 5th. Purple Hurricanes, they had their chances to score as well. This is Hasiaku with a big double off the top of the wall, almost hit it out. That put runners on second and third with 2 outs for Kuya Kagami, who has Clutch G, and well, that's what Clutch G does for you sometimes. Toy catches the fly out to end the inning. Top 6, Hurricanes had another chance to do something with runner on first and 1 out. A great tag there by Azuma, and the throw to first getting it in time, but it would be all Comets here today. Lifter Tsukami flying out into center field to end the ball game and giving the Space City Comets the sweep. Our next matchup takes us to a team that's getting a second chance at EPL play. The Crowhoppers, owned by MC Scales, and a team that's made its return to league play after a 1-season hiatus, the Wild Jokers, owned by Matt. Both are looking to prove they've still got what it takes to hang in the EPL level, but who would prove to be victorious? Let's take you out to the ballpark for Met versus MC Scales. In Game 1, it was Yuto Narumi on the mound for the Wild Jokers, and he was dealing in the first inning, getting Tamaguchi to strike out looking to start things off, but top second. Runner on second, nobody out for Eiji Furinaga for the Crow Hoppers. Gets an RBI single up the middle to score Takarazuka to make it 1-0. Top of the fourth, runners on first and second with 2 outs for Tamaguchi. Gets it to Ozaki, but he's just safe at first. That loaded the bases for Morikawa, and he grounds out to end the threat. Ozaki with the throw across in time. Bottom 6, 2-0 the score. Kazunagi with a line drive caught by Morikawa. Great diving play there. Top 9, the score now 4-0. Eiji Furinaga. That man does it again. Solo home run to center field to make it 5-0, and that would be the score to end the ball game as Daisuke Data grounds out to retire the side and retire the game. Crow Hoppers take Game 1, 5-0. Furinaga getting a 4-hit game with 2 doubles, a homer, and 3 RBI in this one. In game number 2, Daisuke Data, with a runner on third and 1 out in the top of the first for the Wild Jokers, floats an RBI single to left field, gets the Wild Jokers on the board, making it 1-0 for their first run of the year. Bottom 1, Hebashima at the plate for the Crow Hoppers, gets a fly ball in the center field. Setune, not much of an arm. The run does come in to score from third, ties up the ball game at 1. And would stay 1-1 till bottom of the 7th. Ground ball to Samejima. Gets Kawahoshi on the tag out. So it stays scoreless, stay at 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Vanguard at the plate. Grounds to short. A diving stop by Morikawa. They get the out at first, but then Kawahoshi, in the words of AWOL Nation, sails the ball over the catcher's head. That scores 2 on the error, and that makes it a 3-1 ball game. Wild Jokers take the lead. It would be 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th, but a fly out to left would end it. And it would be the Wild Jokers taking Game 2, 3-2. Marushima, 3-for-4 game for the winners. Data, 2-for-4 with an RBI. Hebashima, 1-for-3 with an RBI as well for the Crow Hoppers. In game number 3, the rubber match of the series, we started off in the top of the first. Mamoru Ikari at the plate, pulling an outside pitch down the line to right field. That would send around the runner from first on a close play to score to make it 1-0. Crow Hoppers on top. Next batter was Hebashima, and he lines that Shirana forkball into left field, off the wall, off the line. An RBI double for him makes it 2-0 Crow Hoppers. Bottom 2 now. The Wild Jokers having a chance to score here with first and third, but Yakumo Hokuto strikes out Setune to end the threat. Top third, Takarazuka at the plate. And Takarazuka flies it to right field. Vanguard makes the grab for the Wild Jokers. Throw back in time, gets the double play, and that ended the inning. Bottom 4 still 2-0. Fly ball into center field off the bat. And that would score a run to make it 2-1. So now we go top 6, Takarazuka at the plate for the Crow Hoppers, gets the base hit into center field. Mamoru Ikari comes in to score. That made it 3-1. Runners on second and third, nobody out for Nanook Akiak. A floats one, Marushima just out of his reach. And that would score a run to make it 4-1. Bottom 7, Marushima trying to redeem himself with runners on first and second, but Octavia, the reliever for the Crow Hoppers, gets the strikeout. Top 9, Tamaguchi at the plate, gets a fly ball into right field, but it goes past Vanguard's glove, goes into the corner. That would score 2 on the 2-run triple for Tamaguchi to make it 6-1 Crow Hoppers. And then with 2 outs, bases empty, Setune grounds out to Octavia to end it. So the Crowhoppers take 2 of 3 from the Wild Jokers. Hebeshima 3 for 4 game with a double and an RBI. Tamaguchi 3 for 5 with a triple and 2 RBIs. And Hokuto with 6 strong innings for the victors in this one. This next matchup pits a couple of really good players from the lower tiers of the previous league structure. The Hampton County Tabby Cats, owned by HaHa Healy, were a Triple P playoff team in the previous league season, while the White Comets, owned by Big Sid, were champions of the Double P level in the previous season. The Tabby Cats, who had the number 2 pick in the preseason draft, are led by Kazuya Unkai, one of the best pitchers in the game, while the White Comets are led by their big pitching duo of Ryuga Doe and Hope Suzakaze, owners of 2 big, deadly breaking pitches. Who would come out on top in this matchup? Let's go with the highlights. In game number 1, Big Sid versus HaHa Healy. We pick it up in the top of the second. Kagurazaka, the starting pitcher for the White Comets, was dealing early. Oda strikes out swinging on the curveball there. And then in the top of the third, Tommaso Burrow at the plate for the Tabby Cats strikes out swinging at that 149km/h fastball. Bottom third, Yojo Kenji walks for the White Comets against Tamura. Then Yanendra Baturai gets it over the shortstop Zansu for a base hit, putting runners on the corners for Teramichi, who on the first pitch lines out to Zansu to end that threat. Bottom 4, Inada at the plate with Shimada on third, and it will be Inada getting the RBI single, putting the White Comets out in front, 1-0 in the fourth. Top 5, that lead would not last long. Maito Oda for the Tabby Cats goes yard to right center field, tying this ball game up at 1 apiece, 142 meters off the bat. Top 7, Akio Yabe at the plate gets a ground ball to Yojo Kenji. He gets the tag out, but he forgets there's only 2 outs now. So he couldn't get the double play, and that leads to Zansu getting a base hit to put runners on first and second with 2 outs, and then Yakiman 3 bails out the White Comets. Pop out to Hakasaki to end the threat. Top 8, Komasaka at the plate for the Tabby Cats gets the ground ball to short, but a little bit of a late break from Tomasa Burrow, and she is out at the plate. We go bottom 9 now, and Mickey Vermillion hops up to Tachibana, which means bonus baseball in game 1. Top of the 10th, Yakiman 3 at the plate. Lines out to Hakasaki at first, and he will tag the base for the double play, ending that threat. Bottom 10, White Comets trying to get something going, and Komasaka with a fantastic play gets the double play to end the inning. A fantastic jumping catch. This one went to 13 innings, and Zansu, to lead off the inning, gets a 2-run triple. The White Comets thought it was over, but it was the top of the inning. So 2-run score to make it 3-1. And then in the bottom of the 13th, Kaminari strikes out looking against Tachibana. And then Yojo Kenji, the last hope for the White Comets. A great jumping catch by Zansu to end the game. 3-1 the final score. Tabby Cats get the 2-run triple from Zansu to take home the victory. Minato 1 for 5 with an RBI for the White Comets. In game number 2, we pick it up in the bottom of the first. Genki Chirai gets a ground ball up the middle. Yojo Kenji thought he had the out at second, but didn't. So that loaded the bases for Maito Oda against the starting pitcher for the White Comets, Tamine. After a first pitch strike from Oda, Tamine on a shoot ball gets him to pop out in foul ground to Hakasaki. 2 gone, still with the bases loaded for Akio Yabe. Yabe gets a pop-up, Yojo goes out, can't quite make the dive, 2 runs will score on the RBI single, and that will make it 2-0 Tabby Cats. Bottom second, Komasaka at the plate, runners on first and second, 1 out, gets a little floater into center field, that scores a run to make it 3-0 Tabby Cats, and the runs would keep on coming from there for the Tabbies. Daiichiman at the plate. First pitch, ground ball, up the middle, Baturai tries to step on the bag for one, couldn't get it, but does get the out at first to make it 4-0 Tabby Cats. Then it was Genki Chirai at the plate once again. Gets a line drive into center field, this time well over Yojo Kenji at short. That made it 5-0. We move ahead to the top of the fourth inning. Mitsuno at the plate for the White Comets. Gets the base hit into right field. That scores a run to make it 5-1, but it was just too much Tabby Cats today. Gravitane Rai shut down this offense quite a bit there, getting a strikeout of Kenji there in the top of the fifth. And then to end this ballgame, Inada with a line out to center field, right at Tomasa Burrow to finish off this one 7-1. Tabby Cats get the big victory right there. Game number 3, we pick it up in the top of the fourth. Tabby Cats getting on the board in the top of the fourth with Daiichiman getting a base hit to right field, well past Mickey Vermillion, but they get the out at second anyway. Ginenja Baturai here in the bottom of the sixth gets the ground out to move up a runner to second of Yojo Kenji, and that brought up Teramichi, the left fielder, who lines it into left center field for a base hit. And that would score Yojo to make it 1-1. Top 7 though. This was a pitcher's duel the whole way. Hope Suzakaze getting a big strikeout there of Daiichiman. This one eventually went into extra innings. Inada striking out looking in the bottom of the 10th with a big chance there. Then in the top of the 11th, a line out to second by Tomasa Burrow to end the second and third threat. And then Komisaka in the top of the 12th gets a ground out, but then a late break for home again by the Tabby Cats. That ended in a double play. This went to 14 innings, and it was Inada ending it with an RBI single. Yabe tried to dive to save a run, but he could not do it. And the White Comets walk it off 2-1. Inada with the RBI double. Suzakaze 72 thirds, 4 strikeouts, and a walk as well in this one. The Soda Beer Sunrise, owned by Penguin Pouch, have a bit of a storied history with no lock-on play at the EPL level. They were the regular season champions for 2 straight seasons, finishing with identical 22-5 records. But X-Long X and his Flick and Squib squad were carefully crafted to do the little things well. Could the Juggernaut get started on the right foot against a skilled newcomer to no lock-on play, or would it be David beating Goliath? Let's take a look at the highlights of Game 1 between the Soda Beer Sunrise and the Flick and Squibs. For the Soda Beer Sunrise, it was DJB78 taking the mound in this one, and he was dominant in this particular game. Top first against Black, gets the strikeout to end the inning. But this was all Soda Beer Sunrise all the time. Starting in the bottom of the first, Papillon with an RBI single up the middle, scores a run, makes it 1-0 early on. And then, the very next batter, Tatsuo Yabeman, gets a meaty fastball from Reibu, knocks it into the batter's eye in center field, 2-run shot, making it 3-0. Bottom 3, it's now 4-0. Susumu Ikari with a base hit down the left field line. That scores another run to make it 5-0. And then the next batter, Mahiru Toto, gets another fastball from Reibu on the inside, jams her a bit, but gets over Roppongi at short, scores another run to make it 6-0. And then Kyle Morales, with 1 out, runners on the corners, gets a curveball, grounds it to second. They could have gotten the double play on it, but a little hesitation from the Aptet, scores the RBI, and gets the final run of the game. 7-0, a Mercy Rule win in Game 1 for the Soda Beer Sunrise. In Game 2, between the Flick and Squibs and the Soda Beer Sunrise, this one was a little bit more of a closer game. Bottom first, Heizuka at the plate facing Alvin Lockhart. He gets a base hit to left field, puts runners on first and second for the Flick and Squibs for Sakyo Mitsumori, but he lines out to Mahiru Toto to retire the side. This one was scoreless. Top 5, Naito to lead things off for the Soda Beer Sunrise gets a double into left center field. Black having a little trouble getting to it, but it is a double nonetheless for Naito. And then with one out and Naito on third, Susumu Ikari blasted into right field, but right at Ukyo Mitsumori. That scores Naito from third, making it 1-0 Soda Beer. Top 5 still, Kyle Morales trying to get some more runs, but Moroi makes the grab on the fly ball by Morales. Bottom 5, here's Ukyo Mitsumori. Gets a little flick into right field for a base hit. Nyaptet just safe at third, putting runners on the corners. And then a big strikeout of Toto there by Red. So we have a tie game going bottom 9. Yaku Mask leading off the bottom of the 9th against Papillon, the new pitcher. He gets a big double to deep center field to start off the inning. Could they get the run to end this ball game? Isaac at the plate, first pitch, grounds into a 3-6-1 double play. This one, folks, Sakio Mitsumori pops up to third. This one went extra innings. Top 10. Soda Beer Sunrise getting a bit of a sack bunt there. A little cheeky move from Shinonome. And that put runners on second and third for Susumu Ikari. The Flickin' Squibs, they call for the intentional walk. Bases loaded. 2 outs for Iwate. Little floater. Nyaptet gets there to retire the side. Then the bottom of the 10th with the bases loaded. Papillon walks Mitsumori. And that ended the game. 2-1. Flickin' Squibs take a win against the Soda Beer Sunrise in Game 2. Moving on to game number 3 of this series. This one, maybe a little bit more like game number 1. It was Queen Kokoro on the mound. Gives up a single here to Nyaptet with 2 outs in the top of the first. But then the very next pitch to Sakio Mitsumori, Nyaptet took off, but was gunned down by Soda Beer. That would be the only base runner that the Flickin' Squibs would have all game. Bottom first, Naito at the plate. Runners on first and second. She would get a double into right center field, scoring 2 to take a 2-0 lead. And then Susumu Ikari, a couple batters later, gets a thinker single up the middle, gets a third run in the game to make it 3-0. But Queen Kokoro was the story of this one for Soda Beer Sunrise. Gets a strikeout of Haisuga here in the top of the second, and then Ukyo Mitsumori could not catch up to that special pitch right there. 2 back-to-back strikeouts. Bottom 3, now it's 4-0. Ogoe at the plate gets a meaty fastball from the pitcher, gets it over the head of everybody, and scores a run to make it 5-0. And then we move ahead, bottom of the 5th, 6-0 now. Kyle Morales at the plate. He has 2 RBIs already, make it 3, and this one ended the game 7-0. Soda Beer Sunrise take 2 of 3 from the Flickin' Squibs. iPump Plastic and the Lost City Monarchs were newcomers to EPL play last season and nearly got the regular season championship, losing out by just 1 game to the Soda Beer Sunrise, losing 2 of 3 in the final week of the regular season, which then led to an upset in the second round of the Summit Series playoffs. Meanwhile, the Osaka Foxes, owned by Serena, have shown in some practice matches to be a bit of an inconsistent team at times. Each game could go either way with this team depending on how the balls would fall. Who would show the most consistency in this Week 1 matchup? Let's take you to the highlights of this series, starting with game number 1. And it starts out here in the top of the second. Onishi facing off against Jitsu. Gets a strikeout looking for the second out of that inning. Onishi was on fire in this game until the top of the 4th when Atsumori gets an RBI double into the left field corner. That made it 1-0 Foxes as the throw, just not in time. Bottom 4 though, for the Lost City Monarchs, it was Fumito Data getting the Lost City Monarchs on the board with an RBI single to center field just ahead of the strong throw from Dadan Dadan. to make it 1-1. Top 5, Onishi doing his thing again. Tsukumo striking out looking on an absolute dot. Top 6, he does the same on pink this time. Then bottom of the 6th, Fumito Data gets a meaty fastball right down the middle. He knew what to do with it. 3-run homer to make it 4-1. Top 7, the Osaka Foxes trying to get a little bit of a comeback here. And this is Demai Wong with an RBI single to make it 4-2. And the Foxes trying to get a little bit more runs in the top of the 9th with 2 outs, a little 2-out rally potentially with a base hit to right field by Maguro. And then the very next batter, Kyushu, their catcher, getting a little floater down the right field line to make it 1st and 3rd with 2 outs, bringing up Jitsu, trying to get something going. The count went to 3-2 on a perfect pitch there from Yamino, and then the changeup. Jitsu could not do anything with it. It's Lost City Monarchs taking game 1 by a final of 4-2. Fumito Data getting all 4 RBI for the Monarchs. In game number 2, this one was more of a pitcher's duel than anything between this girl, Zenzai, and this guy, Kiba. Zenzai was very, very efficient in this one, getting a lot of ground balls, including this one to Chiyohime to start off the game, but it was Kiba who would steal the spotlight in game number 2 with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but guess what? 5 strikeouts to get things started in a row in this one. It would stay scoreless until the top of the 9th. Fukuya for the Lost City Monarchs getting a little floater down the right field line. He would stay at first on that one to start off the top of the 9th. Then it was Garcia Serra getting a base hit into center field, sending Fukuya to second. And then, a couple batters later, Naito gets a little pop-up into center field to Don on the run. Can't quite make the sliding catch. Both runners come in to score, making it 2-0 Monarchs. But then, Kiba finished off what would be a masterpiece with a ground ball off the bat of Don to Fukuya for the first out, and then doing what he did best. He had 12 of these in game number 2, strikeouts. There's number 11, and then number 12 to end it. And folks, Arashi Kiba with the first 9-inning perfect game in the EPL this year. He did not give up a hit. He did not give up a walk. 12 strikeouts in this one for the Monarchs, taking game 2. In game number 3, Arima looked to pick up where Kiba left off on the strikeout train. He did give up a base hit to Chiyohime to get started with the game, but Chiyohime a little bit too aggressive on the base paths. Failed hit and run. He knew it was coming, and they get the tag out there, and then Arima went to work. Pink striking out, swinging on the circle change, and then Kyushu on a fastball. Got him. Bottom 1, Garcia Serra with a base hit into center. Actually, no, not caught. Well, it was caught out there by Don on a bit of a Willie Mays-like catch. And then into right field, but Chiyohime right there to make a diving catch. And then Nubis in the bottom of the 6th, a solo home run to center field to make it 1-0 for Lost City. An absolute no-doubter. And then in the next inning, up 2-0, he does it again, this time to left center field to make it 4-0. And then top 9, 4-0. The Osaka Foxes just could not have an answer for the pitching of the Lost City Monarchs. They take the sweep in their first week series, 4-0 in Game 3. Sir Bacon Bits' North Pole No Socks have been the definition of just about average the last couple of seasons in EPL play, with their biggest triumph being winning the relegation playoffs and staving off relegation in the previous league design. Now with a new design, they're looking for a bit of a reset of their own. Meanwhile, the Chicago Curve and their owner Clutch struggled quite a bit at the Triple P level last season, but made it to the relegation finals and stove off relegation. And they were given a chance to give it their all in the EPL this season. Who would start out their season on the right track, and who would be looking for a rebound week in week 2? Let's take you to the highlights of this series starting in game number 1. Daisuke Suzumoto on the mound for the No Sox in this one. He was dealing early, getting a strikeout of Jinguji there in the top of the second. Top of the fourth, knuckleball to Nakanoshima. Another strikeout on the day. He would have 3 of these. But in the top of the fifth, Junketsu getting a little base hit up the middle to start the inning. Could this be a start of a little bit of a rally for the Chicago Curve? Ooh, bit of a miscommunication there on defense. Allows Junketsu to go to second, and then Jinguji into left field for a base hit. The runner would hold up at third, putting runners on the corners. So, big pressure situation for Suzumoto. Datsuwano with not 1, not 2, but 3 straight fastballs right in the top corner for out number 1, and then Kuroe on a knuckleball gets the 1-4-3 double play to end the threat. Bottom 6, Kirigane at the plate, and Takano with a big stolen base to put him in scoring position, and then Kirigane pops out to end the threat once again. The North Pole No Sox, they had their chances early on in this one. Allen a little bit happy about that one. Bottom 7, Ogoe leading things off, but Kodaira had other plans. A big jumping catch there. It would stay scoreless until the 9th inning. Takano leading it off with a single to get things started. And then Tenoji, after Takano gets to third a couple batters later, into center field, Kuroe tried to make a dive, but it was just out of their reach. A walk-off single for Tenoji to get things started in this one. 1-0 the final score in game 1. In game number 2 between the North Pole No Sox and the Chicago Curve, Matsuzaki on the mound for the Curve, and this was a bit of an auspicious start for the Curve as Sho Ito drops the ball in left field, and they would soon come to regret it. Kirigane on a 2-2 pitch, a meaty fastball from Matsuzaki into the batter's eye, and just like that, 2-0 North Pole No Sox. And that was all that Haruto Alba needed. Strikeout there, and then in the bottom of the 4th, another one right there of Kirasaki. Top 6, Takano at the plate, gets another meaty fastball from Matsuzaki into dead center field. 4-0 No Sox. Top of the 6th, Ogoe would make sure they would get some more. Bit of an aggressive send at third, but it's an RBI single nonetheless. 5-0 North Pole No Sox. Okino, the next batter up, gets a little bit of a pop-up. Suwano makes the catch for the first out. And then Rinto Gobu on a hit and run into center field. Kuroe could not get there in time. It's an RBI single to make it 6-0. Runner safe at third, by the way. And then, for good measure, Morimoto, the slap hitter, the slap hitting pitcher, gets a base hit into right field, making it 7-0. And just in case that wasn't good enough for the No Sox, they would get one more. Oyama with a base hit just out of the reach of Kirasaki. They would not get the out at second. 8-0 the score, and folks, that would be the final in this one as Kirigane gets picked off first to end it. No Sox in dominant fashion in a mercy rule take it 8-0 in game number 2. Kirigane and Takano with homers, Alba going 6 innings, couple strikeouts, and 3 hits. In game number 3, this one was the closest of them all. We pick it up in the bottom of the second. Hanji Ban at the plate, looks at a cutter inside, and a nice stolen base there from Rinto Gobu. The 2-0 lined and caught by Kirasaki for the final out of the inning. This was scoreless until the top of the fourth. Sho Ito with a big not double play right there. Everybody's safe. Big speed on the base paths with Nakanoshima. And then into right field for Tsugi with a base hit to load the bases up with nobody out for Kodaira. Bucho trying to dot it up with a fastball. They get the out at third. They couldn't get the out at first, but the run scores from third either way, making it 1-0 curve. And then Allen Raven into right center field, giving the Clutch a bit more of a cushion in this one. 1 run scores, 2 runs come in to score, and just like that, the Curve up 3-0 in the fourth. Bottom 4, the No Sox trying to get back in this one. There's a little floater into left field to make it, a little bit of miscommunication on the base paths there. To Noji out at the plate. And then there's a base hit right there. North Pole No Sox finally get their run in the bottom of the 7th to make it 3-1. Ogoe getting the RBI in that one. And then a little bit later in the inning, base hit into right field. They get hosed. They hose Hoshi over at third, but the run comes in to score. Bottom 9, 2 outs. Bit of a strategic decision here by the Curve to walk Hanji Bond to load the bases, but Oyama with a 2-run single to end it. A walk-off single for Oyama, 2-run score, and the No Sox sweep the Curve 4-3, coming back in game number 3. And now we get to the defending EPL champions, the North Shore Honu, owned by Zumikaku. The Honu have been one of the best no-lock-on players in the United States Power Pros community, and one of the more consistent players in the format for quite a while, even showing up highly in the Olympic qualifying tournaments back in 2023. However, Jeff DeBoss's Smooth Jazz are looking to see if momentum from last season's 14-13 record in Triple P can carry over into EPL play, where he was at, but struggled, back in the early days of the league structure. Let's take you to the highlights as Honu management received their championship rings on the field before this series began. We start in Game 1 between the Smooth Jazz and the North Shore Honu, the previous season's EPL champions. Pop up here in the top of the first. They had a runner on second, the Honu did, but could not capitalize. Then Oma Asa got to work for the North Shore Honu. He had a couple strikeouts, this one in the second and this one in the 6th of Shibuya. We go back to the top of the 5th though, because there is some good defense in this game too by the Smooth Jazz. A smooth double play turned by Misa Kamura. Top 8, bases loaded for the Honu, and Taro Takimoto, last year's MVP of the team, gets a 2-run single to right field down the line, 2-0 Honu. And then Kuriki gets in on the action to right field, just past a diving Takeda. He would score 2 on that play, and the North Shore Honu would take a 4-0 lead. Now that doesn't mean they had other opportunities in this game to score more. Yashima tried to get the bunt down, but Makita caught between third and home. Bottom 9, the Smooth Jazz had some chances to get on the board, but a 6-4-3 double play pretty much ended it. And then Yumashiro, couple of pitches later, gets a ground ball up the middle. Sakuma with the throw in time, and the North Shore Honu take game 1 4-0. In game 2, Takimoto getting things started for the Honu with a long home run to left center field off of Arashimaru, putting the Honu up 1-0 early. In the top of the 4th, the Smooth Jazz trying to get something going with a runner on first, but this is a 3-6-1 double play, and that was just the pitching prowess, the defense that the North Shore Honu showed in this one. Bottom 5, Yashima into right field, gets an RBI single, 2-0 North Shore. And then Takimoto, not to be outdone, gets a little single into center field. Not much his style, but it works just fine. 3-0 North Shore. And that would be the score going to the top of the 9th. Yumashiro, after fouling off this ball right here against Shirase, gets a pop-up, and that would end the ball game. North Shore taking the first two in this one. Final score 3-0 in Game 2. In Game 3, Smooth Jazz trying to salvage at least one game in this series. Top one, Oma Asa with an RBI single for the Honu in this one, going up 1-0. Bottom first, the Smooth Jazz had a little bit of a threat going first and second with 2 outs, trying to get that first run of the series, but Ochiai with a ground ball to short would end all notions of that. Top 5, Sakura Nomiya at the plate for the North Shore Honu, but this is a 1-6-3 double play, nicely done by the Smooth Jazz defense. Top 6, Taro Takimoto, who was intentionally walked earlier in this game, says, "You do not intentionally walk me, because I can do that." 2-run homer to make it 3-0. We go top 9, it's now 4-0. Yashima with a fly ball in the center field. Murasame couldn't make the dive, putting runners on second and third off of that Yashima hit. Top 9 still 2-0 pitch to Ichijo, and this is a long fly ball. Darn near gets out, but it's going to be a 2-run double to make it 6-0. Ichijo bringing in a couple of runs, and then Min with a base hit down the line into left field. That scored another to make it 7-0. The Honu would score plenty of times in this inning, making it 9-0. Going bottom 9, strike them out, throw them out, double play to end it, and the North Shore Honu get a sweep to start the season in the EPL. Our next series is a bit of a friendly rivalry in the making. In Triple P last season, John's Copyright, the owner of the Bay Area Rockets, took 2 of 3 from the Dot Crew, owned by M. Frisk, in their regular season matchup. But in the semifinals of the promotion playoffs, it was the Dot Crew victorious with a 2-1 victory in that best of 3 series. So would it be the Dot Crew making a statement, or would it be the Rockets blasting past the Dot Crew like last season's regular season matchup? We'll take you to the highlights of Game 1 between the Bay Area Rockets and Dot Crew U. We picked this one up bottom of the second. DJBK at the plate for the Bay Area Rockets. Gets a base hit into center field. Gonna get right past Kanahara on a dive, and that's gonna be a 1-out double for the Rockets. But would they score her all the way from second? Well, she made it to third with a couple of, made it to second with a couple of outs, my apologies. But a ground out to short ends the inning, tied at 0. It would stay scoreless until the third. Bito leading off with a single to center field. And then a couple batters later, she's on third with 2 outs. And it's a RBI single for Kanahara to make it 1-0 Dot Crew. And then the top of the 7th, the Dot Crew would get some more runs in this one. Hinoa on the mound, Shacho at the plate, and he launches one into left center field to make it 2-0 Dot Crew. And that would be all the scoring there would be in this one. Bottom 9, though. The Bay Area Rockets trying to make a game out of this one. Arcana with a base hit to right field. Mayuto Oda with a gun from right field to get Kiyamoto at the plate to end the ball game. 2-0. Dot Crew take Game 1 in dramatic fashion. So in game number 2, Dot Crew U looking to take the second game of this one. Bay Area Rockets trying to get a split in the first couple games. Top of the first, Mine grounding out to second. And this was a bit of a theme for Sumera, the starting pitcher for the Dot Crew in this one. Top second gets the grounder of DJBK. That would be the theme of the game. Dominance from both pitching staffs. Amagi getting a strikeout there. But then bottom of the 5th, the Dot Crew would break things open with an RBI single for Rokudo just ahead of the throw. But then she would get run out on the bases to end the inning. It would stay 1-0. 7th inning, Sumera once again getting a ground out to second. He would go the distance in this one. Kishida, the last chance for the Rockets, gets the ground ball back to the mound, and the Dot Crew with an easy 1-0 win here in game number 2. So Dot Crew up 2-0 in the series. Bay Area Rockets trying to salvage at least one game of this one, and they went to their guy Yamaguchi, whose fork ball was absolutely dicing up these hitters for Dot Crew U. Onowake struck out. You had Kanahara struck out. Even Saru struck out there in the bottom of the second. Top 6. The Bay Area Rockets would break things open with an RBI double to left center field by Arikata, and that would put the Rockets up 1-0. Bottom 7, Yamaguchi getting Onowake for the 3rd time in the game. That would be his 6th strikeout of the game. Then the top of the 8th, Mine getting an RBI single to right field to make it 2-0, and then the runs would just keep coming for the Bay Area Rockets. Arikata once again, there's a base hit to center field. Kanahara bobbling it out there. Coming in to score would be Mine on the E8, so Arikata doesn't get an RBI. Then next batter, Kishida with an RBI double in the right center field gap. All the way from first comes Arikata, and that made it 4-0. They would score one more in the inning to make it 5-0. Top 9, it would be 6-0. Onowake would get the ground out, but doesn't get Kiyomoto for the 3rd out. And that left it up to Kishida to smoke a home run to center field to make it 9-0 Bay Area Rockets, and then Yamaguchi getting the ground ball to 3rd to end the game. The Bay Area Rockets absolutely dominating the Dot Crew in Game 3. 9-0 the final score, and they salvage one game in the 3-game series. Finally today, we take you to the series that was arguably the most exciting of them all this week. The Green Revolution are owned by YG, one of the biggest names in the USA Power Pro scene, having won last November's USA eBaseball Finals in Durham, North Carolina, and finished in 4th place in March's WBSC eBaseball Series World Finals in Lausanne, Switzerland. This was his first time playing in a big no-lock-on environment such as this, so the question was, could he adjust to the play style in no lock-on compared to lock-on 3, where he is a USA champion? Meanwhile, you have the Philadelphia Bandits, owned by B. Farrell 10, who is a veteran of no lock-on action on the PlayStation 4 console. Since the league is played on the Nintendo Switch console, could B. Farrell make the smooth transition between consoles with his prowess in the concept? The answers to those questions came to light in what was a thrilling series all around, so let's take you out to the highlights. We start in game number 1 between the Philadelphia Bandits and the Green Revolution. And we're going to pick this one up in the top of the first. Runners on second and third with nobody out for Saiga. And he chops this one over to first. Bondo tosses to Eriki, but the run scores. Saiga gets an RBI, 1-0 for the Green Revolution. Later on in the inning, first and third, one out. Myojin with a base hit up the middle scores another run to make it 2-0 for the Revolution. Bottom 1 with a runner on second, nobody out. Hino with a line drive over the head of Tanakayama into center field, gets an RBI single, making it 2-1. Bandits within 1. Top 5, second and third with 2 outs. Green Revolution trying to get something going, but Akahara in foul territory makes the grab to retire the side. Bottom 5, Mushika with 2 outs and a runner on second gets an RBI single up the middle, tying up this ball game at 2 apiece. But Myojin would settle down. Bottom 6. 2-2 pitch. Hino swings and misses. This game would remain tied and go into extra innings. Top 10. Line out to end the inning. And then in the bottom of the 10th, the Bandits capitalize on the Green Revolution, missing that opportunity to score. RBI single for Kurama to walk it off and take game 1 by a final of 3-2. Hino 1 for 4 with an RBI. Mushika 1 for 3 with an RBI. Kurama getting the win. In game number 2, Green Revolution trying to rebound from that walk-off loss. Myojin with a 2-run homer to left field. This would be a big day for Myojin. Bottom of the third, still 2-0. He lines this one up the middle for a base hit. Runner aggressively coming around third. They score on a very close play to make it 3-0 for the Green Revolution. And that was pretty good for Amazaki, the pitcher for the Green Revolution. He was absolutely dealing. A couple strikeouts there in the top of the fourth as well. Gets Reibu Kai on the forkball. And then Kokuju, the very next batter, strikes out looking at the fastball. 4 strikeouts from Amazaki on the day, but Kujo came in the 7th and was rudely greeted with a 2-run homer off the bat of Reibu Kai to make it 3-2. Akahara with a chance to tie the game with 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. Grounds out to short. Top 9, Kokuju with 2 outs left to go for the Green Revolution to win. High fly ball to center. Shido back to the track. It gets out to tie this ball game. Top 11, 1st and 2nd with 1 out for the Bandits. Reibu Kai with a sacrifice fly to give them the 4-3 lead. So, the Green Revolution trying to answer in the bottom of the 11th. Sayeki lining that one into right field for a base hit. Another aggressive send by the Revolution, and he just gets in time to tie this ball game. And then Myojin with a runner on 2nd and 1st, and he floats that one in for a base hit. Kagayaki with the throw, not in time. Myojin walks it off, and the Green Revolution get their first win of the season. 5-4 the final score. Myojin 3 for 5 with 4 RBI on the day. And then in game number 3, Myojin continuing his hot series in the top of the 1st, 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, lining it up the middle for a base hit. Another aggressive send by YG's team, and it gets to a 1-0 game. Bottom 2 for the Bandits. Nanai getting a double just past the right fielder to lead off the inning. Then a couple batters later, Kagayaki chops it up the middle. Suzaku makes the throw, but Nanai comes in to score to tie the ball game at 1. Bottom 5, Suzaku would settle down though, getting a strikeout of Akahara to end the inning. Top of the 6th, Shido with a runner on 1st and 2 outs, bloops one over the infield for a base hit, but a bit of a base running error by the Green Revolution, out at 2nd to end the inning. Top 7, Green Revolution trying to get something going with runners on 1st and 2nd, but a line out by Koldberg, and they would capitalize in the bottom of the 7th. The Bandits, Reibu Kai with his 2nd home run of the series to make it 2-1. But Tanakayama trying to get stuff going for the Green Revolution in the top of the 9th, down to their final out, gets a 2-out double. So could they capitalize on that double? Hajime Sayeki, the next batter against Masato Kaji, gets a ground ball just past the 2nd baseman. Runner advances to 3rd. So runners on the corners and 2 outs. And then Victor Koldberg draws a walk to load the bases for Saiga, who gets a good piece of the ball, but Kurama there to make the play. Bandits take 2 of 3 from the Green Revolution to open their season. 2-1 the final score. Reibu Kai with the game-winning homer in the 7th inning. Myojin 4 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Before we go today, let's take a look at the current standings in the USA eBaseball Power League. At the end of Week 1 in the USA eBaseball Power League, we have 4 teams tied at first place with a 3-0 record, led by the North Shore Honu, who have a +16 run differential. They are joined by the North Pole No Sox, the Lost City Monarchs, and the Space City Comets. Then at 2-1, we have the Sodobir Sunrise with a +13 run differential in 5th place, followed by the Crowhoppers, the Hampton County Tabby Cats, the Philadelphia Bandits, and the Dot Crew. On the bottom half of the table, with 1-2 records, we have the Bay Area Rockets at 1-2, the Green Revolution, the White Comets, the Wild Jokers, and the Flick and Squibs. And finally, we have 4 teams that currently are at 0-3, the Purple Hurricanes, the Osaka Foxes, the Chicago Curve, and the Smooth Jazz, who look to score a run in Week 2. Taking a look ahead to Week 2, we have Haha Healy taking on Sir Bacon Bits, Serena taking on M. Frisk, Compass taking on B. Farrelton in what's supposed to be a very great matchup, X-Long X taking on Slimefall, Clutch taking on iPump Plastic, MC Scales taking on Big Sid, YG taking on John's Copyright, Zoomy taking on Penguin Pouch in a very highly anticipated matchup, and Jeff DeBoss taking on Matt. Alright folks, well thank you so much for tuning in to today's first edition of the USA eBaseball Power League Roundup Show. We'll see you next week with Week 2 action in the USA eBaseball Power League. I'm Robert Tomlinson, Commissioner of the USA eBaseball Power League, saying good night and ball go far.